guys, and welcome to Katie's Insight, where I give my insight on all kinds of things. And right now we are really hyper-focused on politics and the stimulus because 2020 is insane. Are any of us going to make it? When do the aliens land? I feel like that should be my new intro. 2020's nuts. Where are the aliens? So anyway, you guys know I'm still kind of trying to figure it out because my channel is... I'm not new to YouTube, but this channel is new. You all know my situation. So we're going to talk about something that makes me sad. I was right yesterday, and I didn't want to be right yesterday, but it looks like the president's health did take a downturn. Where is it at? If you guys remember yesterday, I did a video where I talked about President Trump is not doing well with his health. And a lot of people shot back, and listen, I'm not upset for, when I say shoot back, that's not the right word. People responded back saying reports are saying differently. I totally understand. But what I do on this channel is, as you guys know, I read people. I read things. I read in between the lines. And we were getting conflicting reports yesterday to where I was like, mild fever, no fever, somewhat of a fever, no, he's fine, oxygen, no oxygen. And to the point where I was like, something's up. And here's the thing, we all know Trump. Now, Trump has been known to try to downplay things. For instance, and I did a video about this, if you guys remember his recordings, where apparently in early, was it February, he knew how bad the virus was because he talked to the president of China, and he was trying to downplay it, even though I kind of said a little bit differently. I'm like, well, Trump exaggerates. And at that point, nobody, including the Chinese president, really knew exactly what was going on. It was just a lot of speculation. But Trump, as a businessman, is an exaggerator. As I've said before, he'll exaggerate to the point of lies. I know you guys like to think I'm pro-Trump, but I've fully admitted that I'm not pro-Trump. I'm not anti-Trump. I'm somebody in the middle that tries to weigh information. But I saw enough back and forth where I was like, something's up. Something is up. So I'm going to report how I see it, and I was right. Now we are getting reports today. In fact, it just came out a few hours ago from Trump's medical staff team about what's really gone on with his health. He had a high-ish fever of like 103. His oxygen did drop twice. And I'll tell you, I'm somebody that is asthmatic. You guys have heard me talk about chronic illness, and I have something called a histamine disorder. A histamine really affects my lungs, which gives me asthma and allergies, and in fact, extreme asthma. And I know what it is to have your oxygen levels dip below 96 or 95%. And his were in the 94, 93 range. That's where it starts to get dangerous. I'm just kind of letting you guys know how that works. Now, I'm not a doctor, right? But I'm just telling you, I know from my own experience having extreme chronic asthma and allergies at different points in my life. It's weird. Some points in my life didn't bother me. Other points it was really, really bad. And that, I believe, has to do with the chronic illness and the flare-ups that can happen. Because I don't just have a histamine disorder. I have other things that all tie together in a neat little bow. But we're working on them, and I'm getting better, which is awesome. 120 pounds gone in a year, literally from doing a low histamine, all carnivore diet. Insane. So, in fact, I told you guys this. I've told you because people have said, before they'll be like, they're like, you're losing weight. And it's like, it'll go up and down. Transferring to this channel, I think I gained about 5 or 10 pounds. And it's literally histamine because my body will just retain everything. When my histamines are high, stress makes my histamine high. Anyways, my point is to say I understand to an extent, I'm not a doctor, not a medical professional, but I understand to an extent this side of the medical what they are talking about. And I was like, oh, Lord have mercy. What is happening here? Especially I'm somebody that went through these issues so severely that almost died last year from it. I'd go to the ER, be given oxygen. I'd have to, and on top of that, he's taking steroids. I've had to take a multitude of steroids in my life. In fact, when my lungs get too bad, I have to take prednisone. Funny enough, prednisone has really great effects on me, and typically it doesn't on other people. But again, I have a weird body that reacts very strangely to medicine. I can take 5 milligrams of a anticonvulsant or a muscle relaxer, which I was given a few months ago, 5 milligrams, and for 6 hours I am fighting heart issues. Same thing with the not convulsant, antispasmodic medication that I've had to take sometimes for my stomach. It's the same thing, 5 milligrams, which to most people, 5 milligrams, you'd feel no effects, but that's because of my conditions in my body. So certain things I'd be very sensitive to, other things will work well, and I do know that steroids is something that they will give you if you are having lung issues. It gives you energy, so I'm concerned. I'm not a doctor, and I'm not here to diagnose anybody, and I can't say what's really going on with his health, but I will tell you I am concerned for a few reasons that I might have some other insight on that maybe other people wouldn't who haven't gone through it, right? And by the way, I'm not saying other people haven't gone through it. I just mean, you know, many of the people that we're going to hear on YouTube and the media, they might not have much of an understanding about how this stuff works with your lungs, with constricted breathing. I have a little bit of knowledge. Granted, the virus is different than asthma, but it's still lung constriction. It's still lung constricting and a lack of oxygen. And again, I'm somebody who's well-versed on steroids. Funny enough, if I can take prednisone, right? Typically, like if my lungs don't work, I'll take 20 milligrams, which is still a very low dose, but again, my body's sensitive. And I'll do that for 4 or 5 days, and then I taper off and when I need it. So it's been less and less that I've needed it. Thank goodness. But when I do that, I happen to lose a bunch of weight because all this water weight, because a lot of my weight is water, just goes away, again, with the disorders. So, but a lot of people, they end up gaining weight on steroids. So I have a lot of the opposite effects. But there are a few things that concern me. Like I said, the high fever, the fact that he's been giving a strong dose of corticosteroids is a bit concerning, especially because these steroids, it's dethomexidone. I want to make sure I'm saying that right, because this is not one I don't think I've ever taken before. Dethomexidone, and typically they will use this for patients who are critically ill or on ventilators or needing oxygen. Now, we have different reports from his doctors. My concern is we keep getting different reports, so I feel like we kind of really have to look between the lines and ask what in the HELL is going on. So let me break it down for you by somebody who has some lung issues, so I can kind of, and again, I'm not an expert, I'm not a doctor. I want to say that repeatedly, like, don't take anything I'm saying as medical advice. I'm just telling you from my experiences and what I know, which will be limited because I don't have the same thing. So, what I first want to do, guys, is I want to play a couple clips for you. I want to play one clip that is from his doctors at the Walter Reed Hospital, and they are talking about things. And then I want to play another clip for you where we can hear President Trump talking about what's going on with him, and it's from Walter Reed Hospital that he is doing an update on his health. So let's take a look at these, and I have a lot of interesting notes to go over at the end because I took notes on everything, and I want to give you as much detailed, accurate information as I can. Let's go.
Hours a day. We review and debate every finding, compared to existing science and literature, weighing the risks and benefits of every intervention, its timing, as well as any potential impacts a delay may have. Over the course of his illness, the President has experienced 2 episodes of transient drops in his oxygen saturation. We debated the reasons for this and whether we'd even intervene. It was a determination of the team, based predominantly on the timeline from the initial diagnosis, that we initiate dexamethasone. I'd like to take this opportunity now, given some speculation over the course of the illness, the last couple of days, update you on the course of his own illness. Thursday night into Friday morning when I left the bedside, the President was doing well, with only mild symptoms, and his oxygen was in the high 90s. Late Friday morning when I returned to the bedside, the President had a high fever, and his oxygen saturation was transiently dipping below 94%. Given these 2 developments, I was concerned for possible rapid progression of the illness. I recommended the President we try some supplemental oxygen, see how he'd respond. He was fairly adamant that he didn't need it. He was not short of breath. He was tired, had the fever, and that was about it. And after about a minute, on only 2 liters, his saturation levels were back over 95%. Stayed on that for about an hour, maybe, and it was off and gone. Later that day, by the time the team here was at the bedside, the President had been up out of bed, moving about the residence with only mild symptoms. Despite this, everyone agreed the best course of action was to move to Walter Reed for a more thorough evaluation and monitoring. Now I'd like to invite up Dr. Dooley to discuss the current plan.
Thank you, Dr. Conley. Before I begin a brief clinical update on the President's condition, I do want to reiterate my comments from yesterday regarding how proud I am to be a part of this multidisciplinary, multi-institutional team of clinical professionals behind me, and what an honor it is to care for the President here at Walter Reed National Military Medical Center. Regarding his clinical status, the patient continues to improve. He has remained without fever since Friday morning. His vital signs are stable. From a pulmonary standpoint, he remains on room air this morning and is not complaining of shortness of breath or other significant respiratory symptoms. He's ambulating himself, walking around the White House Medical Unit without limitation or disability. Our continued monitoring of his cardiac, liver, and kidney function demonstrates continued normal findings or improving findings. And I'll now turn it over to Dr. Garibaldi from Johns Hopkins to talk about our therapeutics and, again, our plan for the day.
Thank you, Dr. Julian. I just wanted to, again, reiterate what an honor and a privilege it is to take care of the president, but to be part of such a talented and multidisciplinary team here at Walter Reed. The president yesterday evening completed his second dose of remdesivir. He's tolerated that infusion well. We've been monitoring for any potential side effects, and he has had none that we can tell. His liver and kidney function have remained normal, and we continue to plan to use a 5-day course of remdesivir. In response to transient low oxygen levels, as Dr. Conley has discussed, we did initiate dexamethasone therapy, and he received his first dose of that yesterday, and our plan is to continue that for the time being. Today he feels well. He's been up and around. Our plan for today is to have him to eat and drink, be up out of bed as much as possible, to be mobile. And if he continues to look and feel as well as he does today, our hope is that we can plan for a discharge as early as tomorrow to the White House, where he can continue his treatment course. Thank you very much, and I'll turn it over to Dr. Connolly for any questions.
Dr. Conley?
Just a moment, please. The President wanted me to share how proud he is of the group, what an honor it is for him to be receiving his care here at Walter Reed, surrounded by such incredible talent, academic leaders, department chairs, internationally renowned researchers and clinicians, including the support of Dr. Garibaldi from Johns Hopkins. I'd like to reiterate how pleased we all are with the President's recovery. And with that, I'll take your question.
Thank you so much. Dr. Conley, you said that there were 2 instances where he had drops in oxygen. Can you walk us through the second one? And also, I've got a question for the lung specialist afterwards.
Sure. Yeah. Yesterday, there was another episode where he dropped down about 93%. He doesn't ever feel short of breath. We watched it, and it returned back up. As I said, we evaluate all of these, and given the timeline where he is in the course of illness, we are trying to maximize everything that we could do for him, and we debated whether we'd even start it, the dexamethasone, and we decided that in this case, the potential benefits early on the course probably outweighed any risks at this time.
Did you give him a second round of supplemental oxygen yesterday?
I'd have to check with the nursing staff. I don't think that if he did, it was very, very limited, but he's not on oxygen. And the only oxygen that I ordered or that we provided was that Friday morning initially.
And about what time was that yesterday?
Yesterday, what was yesterday?
You said the second instance?
Second incidence? Oh, it was over the course of the day, yeah. Yesterday morning.
Dr. Conley.
Dr. Conley.
The President's current blood oxygen level? That's my first question to you, Dr. Conley.
98%.
And what do the X-rays and CT scans show? Are there signs of pneumonia? Are there signs of lung involvement or any damage to the lungs?
Yeah, so we're tracking all of that. There's some expected findings, but nothing of any major clinical concern.
Then why start him, Dr. Conley, on the... Dr. Conley, why...
To ask if his oxygen level ever dipped below 90?
We don't have any recordings here of that. That's right.
On the dexamethasone, Dr. Yeah, what about here? At the White House or here, anything below 90, just to follow up on her question?
No, it was below 94%. It wasn't down into the low 80s or anything. No.
So, okay. So on the dexamethasone, the steroids, sir, on the lung function?
Yesterday you told us that the president was in great shape, had been in good shape and fever-free for the previous 24 hours. Minutes after your press conference, White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows told reporters that the president's vitals were very concerning over the past 24 hours. Simple question for the American people. Whose statements about the president's health should we believe?
So the chief and I work side by side, and I think his statement was misconstrued. What he meant was that 24 hours ago, when he and I were checking on the president, that there was that momentary episode of the high fever and that temporary drop in the saturation, which prompted us to act expediently to move him up here. Fortunately, that was really a very transient, limited episode. A couple hours later, he was back up, mild again. I'm not going to speculate what that limited episode was about so early in the course, but he's doing well.
What are the expected findings on his lungs, and why is the president not wearing a mask in the videos and photos that have been released?
Well, the president wears a mask anytime he's around us, and we're all wearing our N95s, full PPE. He's the patient, and when we can, when he'll move out into to public, we move him out and around other people that aren't in full PPE. I assure you, he'll as long as he's still under my care, we'll talk about him wearing a mask.
And he's in a negative pressure room? And the room is negative pressure?
I'm not going to get into the specifics of his care.
And can you answer the questions on the lung function? The lung function question, Dr. Conley?
I'm sorry?
The lung function question. Can you talk about that and what these expected
I would
findings?
just share that, like every patient, we perform lung spirometry on him, and he's maxing it out. We told him, see what you can do, and it's over 2,500 milliliters each time. He's doing great. Yeah.
But are your scans showing any irregularities in his lungs? Are there any obesities? Are there anything?
To disclose that the president had been administered oxygen.
It's a good question.
Thank you.
I was trying to reflect the upbeat attitude that the team, the president, that his course of illness has had. I didn't want to give any information that might steer the course of illness in another direction, and in doing so, it came off that we were trying to hide something, which wasn't necessarily true. So here I have it. He is the fact of the matter is that he's doing really well. That he is responding, and as the team said, if everything continues to go well, we're going to start discharge planning back to the White House. That's it.
And now here's President Trump talking about his health battles and where he's at right now. Let's take a listen.
I want to begin by thanking all of the incredible medical professionals, the doctors, the nurses, everybody at Walter Reed Medical Center. I think it's the finest in the world for the incredible job they've been doing. I came here, wasn't feeling so well. I feel much better now. We're working hard to get me all the way back. I have to be back because we still have to make America great again. We've done an awfully good job of that, but we still have steps to go, and we have to finish that job. And I'll be back. I think I'll be back soon. And I look forward to finishing up the campaign the way it was started and the way we've been doing and the kind of numbers that we've been doing. We've been so proud of it. But this was something that happened, and it's happened to millions of people all over the world, and I'm fighting for them. Not just in the U.S., I'm fighting for them all over the world. We're going to beat this, or whatever you want to call it, and we're going to beat it soundly. So many things have happened. If you look at the therapeutics, which I'm taking right now, some of them, and others are coming out soon that are looking like, frankly, they're miracles. If you want to know the truth, they're miracles. People criticize me when I say that, but we have things happening that look like they're miracles coming down from God. So I just want to tell you that I'm starting to feel good. You don't know over the next period of a few days. I guess that's the real test, so we'll be seeing what happens over those next couple of days. I just want to be so thankful for all of the support I've seen, whether it's on television or reading about it. I most of all appreciate what's been said by the American people, by almost a bipartisan consensus of American people. It's a beautiful thing to see, and I very much appreciate it, and I won't forget it. I promise you that. I also want to thank the leaders of the world for their condolences, and they know what we're going through. They know what, as your leader, what I have to go through. But I had no choice because I just didn't want to stay in the White House. I was given that alternative. Stay in the White House, lock yourself in, don't ever leave, don't even go to the Oval Office. Just stay upstairs and enjoy it. Don't see people, don't talk to people, and just be done with it. And I can't do that. I had to be out front, and this is America. This is the United States. This is the greatest country in the world. This is the most powerful country in the world. I can't be locked up in a room upstairs and totally safe and just say, hey, whatever happens, happens. I can't do that. We have to confront problems. As a leader, you have to confront problems. There's never been a great leader that would have done that. So that's where it is. I'm doing well. I want to thank everybody. Our First Lady is doing very well. Melania asked me to say something as to the respect that she has for our country, the love that she has for our country. And we're both doing well. Melania is really handling it very nicely. As you've probably read, she's slightly younger than me, just a little tiny bit. And therefore, just we know the disease, we know the situation with age versus younger people. And Melania is handling it statistically like it's supposed to be handled. And that makes me very happy, and it makes the country very happy. But I'm also doing well, and I think we're going to have a very good result. Again, over the next few days, we're going to probably know for sure. So I just want to thank everybody out there, everybody, all over the world, specifically the United States. The outpouring of love has been incredible. I will never forget. Thank you very much.
Notes. Let's dive into my notes like I always do. Now, from his doctors, this is what they've said. Over the course of the illness, he's experienced 2 episodes of oxygen drops. Well, that's not a mild symptom, in my opinion. There's another one I want to get into as well that they talked about. We debated reasons for this and if we should intervene. The team decided to try dethomethadone. Thursday night and Friday morning, the president was doing well, mild symptoms. Oxygen was in the high 90s, which is good. Late Friday morning, president had a fever and oxygen was dipping below 94, which again, that's where things start to get dangerous. If you don't get enough oxygen, things don't work, your brain doesn't work, you can get damage. Says, given these 2 developments, I was concerned about the rapid deterioration that he was going through because of the virus. I asked him to do oxygen, but he refused it. He didn't need it. He wasn't short of breath, but he was tired, and he had the fever, but that's it. After about a minute, his oxygen was over 95%, which much better. He stayed on oxygen for an hour, then off of it. So he did finally get on oxygen, stayed on it for an hour, and then got off of it. Later that day, the president had been up out of bed, moving around his residence with mild symptoms. Despite this, everyone agreed the best course of action was to go to Walter Reed for better monitoring and possible action. Now, like I said, it was reported that it fell below 93%. Also, something else you guys need to be aware of, he is taking remdesivir, and that's one of those drugs that's still in clinical trials, but it's one of these, what they're looking at as a miracle drug. He's also on a monoclonal antibody cocktail. Now, I do want to point this out because this was concerning to me, which gave him heart palpitations when he had a fever of 103. I know what it is to run a fever, take medicine, have heart palpitations. In fact, when I've taken, as I said, the is it convulsant? There's a word for it I can't think of. I'm so sorry. I've been so tired the last few days with everything going on, but antispasmodic, thank you. The antispasmodic medication, I haven't done anything for convulsions, but the antispasmodic medication for my stomach, as well as, like I've said, if I've ever had to take a muscle relaxer, 5 milligrams, and I'm fighting my heart. My heart is going up and down between 60, 130, 60, 50, 130, and it feels like you're dying. And all I can do is just kind of meditate through it and breathe through it. I have a couple little tricks to try to get my body to not react, but there's very little that I can do, and I know what that's like to have a fever and to go through your heart having palpitations, and it's very, very scary, especially if it's medicine-induced, because when it's medically induced, there's very little you can do but let the medicine take its course, which is why it can take, anywhere from 5 to 6 hours, because anything that I would typically take for that would happen to me over a 6-hour period. Sometimes around the 5th hour it'd start to decline, but very scary stuff, and that concerns me because in my opinion, I don't think that is a mild symptom. But then again, my issues are different. I'm not trying to compare them to the president, but it does make me scared for him. Now, and again, what he's taking is supposed to be for people with critical or severe illness. But they are saying that they think they're going to discharge him by Monday night. Let me continue to tell you what they said. He says, I asked him to do oxygen, but he refused it. He finally did oxygen for an hour. And then we decided the best course of action was to go to Walter Reed so we can monitor him. Update on the president's condition and my comments from yesterday. It's an honor to care for the president. Regarding his clinical status, he continues to improve. No fever since Friday morning. His vitals are stable from a pulmonary standpoint. And again, I think they're talking about those palpitations. He remains on room air this morning and not complaining of shortness of breath or other symptoms. He's walking around the White House medical unit without limitation or disability. Continued monitoring of kidneys and liver is normal, improving findings. Now, I want to tell you what concerns me. You would think this all sounds good. If he is on a steroid, I'm going to tell, for those of you who haven't been on steroids, and I think probably most of you at different points in your life have had to go on a steroid for a little bit, a steroid is going to give you energy. In fact, I always laugh because like the first day I take prednisone, you know, I am superwoman. Like I can get up and do a lot of things that physically I might not really be able to do. And I'll screw myself up. I'll like strain my muscles. I do that routinely. But it's only been the last couple months that my health, as a result of all the things that have happened, have taken a little bit of a downturn. It's fine. I'm going to be fine. But it's stress induced. And the last time I took prednisone, I ended up having, I went into what they call a POTS dysautonomia flare-up, where I was having heart issues, and it lasted about, and this one lasts about an hour, where your heart goes back and forth between high and low and high and low and high and normal and high and normal, and feels like you're gonna die. It's horrible. I just have to breathe through it. I have to take antihistamine. I eat yogurt, and when I say yogurt, I mean this is gross. It's like eating just straight sour cream. There's nothing in it. It's organic. It's disgusting. And drinking water. And typically then I have to lay flat on my bed and just breathe through it, and it can feel very scary, and it kind of comes and goes. So I just want to say, them saying that, and the reason I'm telling you this is this, them saying he's like up and around and active and this should look like a good sign, in my opinion, this is not necessarily a great sign, because this could just be he's reacting to the steroid. But just because he's on a steroid that's giving him energy doesn't mean he's not sick, doesn't mean the illness isn't worse. Now, I'm not saying that's the case, but I am saying take this with a grain of salt, because if he is on steroids, he's going to have more energy, even if he feels bad and even if he is sick. That has been my experience on it. Maybe this one's a little bit different than what I'm used to, because I don't think I've ever been on this. Typically, it's, you know, prednisone or a shot of something. So I just want to throw that out there. But, you know, and this is not to say that I want anything to be wrong with him. I hope he's getting better, but I'm telling you the things I'm seeing and where my concerns are from somebody who's gone through some similar stuff. Now, he says, the president yesterday evening completed the second dose of remdesivir. He's been taking it, and there's no side effects so far. Liver and kidneys are normal. We're going to use a 5-day course of remdesivir. With his low oxygen issues, we did the dethomethazone therapy, and we will continue to do that. He's feeling well, and he's up and around. We want him to be up, out of bed, mobile, eating, and drinking. Our hope is if he continues to go well, that he can be discharged tomorrow till we can keep doing his remdesivir courses at the White House. President wanted me to share how proud he is of the group at Walter Reed, with such a talented group of doctors and researchers, and he's happy about being, you know, recovering, and we are all happy for his recovery. Reporters asked, he had 2 oxygen drops. Can you walk us through that? He says, yesterday there was another episode. He dropped down 93%. He didn't feel short of breath. We watched it and it turned back up. We evaluated all of these on his illness timeline. We're trying to maximize everything we are doing. We debated trying dethomethazone, then we saw the benefits outweighed any possible negatives. Said, did he do a second round of oxygen? Not that I'm aware of, but I'll have to check. We only know that he got some Friday morning. The president's blood oxygen levels now at 98%. What do x-rays and CT scans show? Signs of pneumonia or lung damage? Good question. He said, we are tracking that. Expected findings are normal. Nothing that's clinical concern. They said that his oxygen dropped below 90. He says, we don't have recordings of that. And then it was no below 94%. So then, yesterday, you said the president was in great shape. Minutes later, Mark Meadows said the president's vitals were concerning over the last 24 hours. Whose statements about the president's health should we believe? He said we worked side by side with Mark. I think his statements were misconstrued. He meant that 24 hours ago that they were checking on the president. He did have the fever and the temporary drop in oxygen. We acted expediently. A couple hours later, he was up again with just mild symptoms. He is now doing well. And apparently, Mark Meadows is in trouble with the president for saying things in a way that was incorrect about his health, per what we are hearing. Now, they asked, what are the expected findings on his lungs, and why is the president not wearing a mask in photos and videos released? He says the president wears a mask anytime he's around us, and we all have our N95s on and our PPE. He's the patient, and we will do everything, and he will move out to the public at some point, and we want to make sure that he is in some sort of PPE. As long as he's under my care, we will talk about him wearing a mask, said the doctor. They said, and the room is negative pressure. They said they're not going to get in specifics of that. Now, I'm not entirely sure what that's about, so just heads up, I'm just not sure what that is. And they said lung function. Can you talk about that and what is expected? They said, like every patient we work on, he's maxing out what he needs to do for his lungs. He's doing great. They're talking about different tests you do for your lungs, and apparently he's fantastic there. And then it said the president administered oxygen. And they said the president is in the course of the illness, and he didn't want to give any info that might steer the course of the illness in another direction. And doing so, it came off like we were trying to hide something, which wasn't true. He's doing very well in responding to as the team said, everything is going well, and we're going to try to discharge him to the White House. This is what I found interesting. So they called him out on a discrepancy that was said yesterday, and he's like, oh, well, we weren't trying to lie, and it wasn't trying to hide, but we were hiding how sick the president was. Come on, guys. And see all of these inconsistencies mixed with the information I know about lung function on the end of having constricted lung function capacity. And then just on top of that, having, you know, palpitations from medicine before, and knowing that they are not all being accurate and truthful, it all makes me question, how bad is it? How bad is what's going on? Because when I'm reading between the lines, I'm not saying that he's horrible or bad off. I'm just saying we're being lied to in some capacity, and it concerns me. Because I don't want our leader to fall, you know? I don't want that. I want everybody to do as well as they can in this country to do great. So this definitely concerns me. Now, this is what Trump said. I just want to go over this very quickly. I came here, I wasn't feeling so well. I'm going back, and I have to be back to the White House to work. We need to make America great again, and we need to finish the job. I'll be back soon. I look forward to finishing the campaign the way it started. The kind of rumors we are doing, we've been so proud of. The kind of numbers. And this is something that happened to me and millions of people around the world, and I'm fighting for them. We are going to beat this, and we're going to beat it soundly. If you look at therapeutics and some that I'm taking, frankly, they are miracles. They criticize me for saying it, but they are miracles coming down from God. I want you to know I'm starting to feel good. We don't know over the next period of a few days what we will see and what will happen. I just want to be so thankful for all the support I've seen on TV, reading about it. Most of all, I appreciate what's been said by the American people, by almost a partisan consensus, a beautiful thing to see, and I won't forget it, I promise you that. I thank the leaders of the world for their condolences, and all the leaders of the world for all of their kind wishes and what we're going through. But I had no choice. I just didn't want to stay in the White House. I could have stayed in the White House, locked yourself in, don't leave, stay upstairs. He says, don't talk to anybody, don't be around anybody. I can't be doing that. This is America. This is the greatest and most powerful country in the world. And I can't be locked up in a room upstairs and be totally safe and say whatever happens, happens. As a leader, you have to confront problems. As a great leader, no one would do that. I'm doing well. Thank you, everyone. Our First Lady is doing very well, which I'm happy to hear because we haven't heard many updates on Melania, so this is great. Melania asked me to say something to respond to all the love that she has for the country. We are both doing well. Melania is handling it very nicely, as you probably have read. She's slightly younger than me. Therefore, we know the disease and we know the situation where it's age versus younger people, and she's handling it statistically like it's supposed to be handled, and that makes me and the country very happy. I'm also doing well, and it makes me very happy. We will know over the next few days how it goes. Thank you, everyone, all over the world and in the United States. So, I mean, it's a positive message, but again, seeing all this, I have to question what is actually happening and how bad is it, because we know President Trump doesn't ever want to look weak. And look, to some extent, as a leader, I get it. You want to show that you're strong, your country's strong, your actions are strong and bold. And I'm not even faulting if he lied about how bad it is, because I understand why you would do that. In fact, I've been somebody who's been chronically sick before in the public eye. I'm not necessarily saying like this, and having people really criticize your health and all these different things. And so when you are sick, it is so toxic. It's so much worse to have, people trying to be negative or say they don't believe you or something. And not that people are saying that, but all I'm saying is I can have compassion. I want to be a voice of reason that says, in this situation, I don't think it was a big conspiracy. I think Trump is trying to not alarm the American people, and maybe he's also trying to keep his mental health in a good place. Because when you get sick like this, it can, especially for something that can be this dangerous, it can really screw. And it most likely really does screw with the majority of people's mental health, especially if it's something chronic, right? So I just want to give that opinion, because if people say Trump, he's a liar, he's a this, he's a that. Well, I also want to say, to an extent, it's his health, it's his business. Yes, though, he is the president. We need to know what's going on. But at the same time, I think we should protect people's ability. We have HIPAA laws for a reason, protect their ability to be able to have privacy with their health. So I don't think this was some big crazy conspiracy. I think everybody's just doing the best they can with a crazy situation. Again, where are the aliens, 2020? You are the last piece. Get down here. I've got candles for you. So yeah, and by the way, my laughing, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I am very upset And I take very seriously what's going on with the president, because I don't want anything to happen to the president, the first lady, anybody in the White House, even the people I don't like in the government. Even if Nancy Pelosi was to come down with this, I would be praying for her. What I pray for is anybody that I don't like or that I think could be detrimental, I pray for them to have some sort of enlightenment and be better and want to do better, but I don't ever pray for somebody's destruction. And I really hope as a country we can get back to that place, because I'm just really tired of people happy and wishing horrible things on the president and his administration. Why don't we just focus on the betterment of everybody? So says me. But then again, I don't know, maybe that's me and just my former hippie ways, and not really former hippie ways. I always say I'm a drugless, bugless, dirtless hippie, but that's true. So I have the mindset, right? I still have a lot of the spiritual New Ager mindset, even though I take lots of things from other places, but I just wish the best for everybody. And I really do, and I really hope that he is okay. And I will point out one more thing I've talked a little bit about in the videos from earlier today. If you haven't seen them, I updated on emergency stimulus checks from the president, possibly from the hospital bedside. Go check that out, as well as stimulus when it comes to what's going on with what has been passed. And how that can affect us. So go check out the stimulus that was signed into law recently. But when it comes to Trump, you know, what an interesting, I did it again, I keep saying it in videos, interesting. What an interesting turn of events if he ended up passing emergency executive orders for stimulus from his bedside. Because let's be very clear, when it comes to the election, him getting this is not good. This is not good in terms of how this appears to the American people and all the policies and things he's tried to put in place, and, you know, recovery of the economy. This is an L for him. He's taken an L for this. However, in saying that, what I want to also say is, wouldn't it be crazy if while he's going through this, he ended up passing stimulus checks, even if he's not really technically allowed to do it, and gave the American people money? That's a win. That's a win-win-win for him in the election, in my opinion. Is it going to happen? I'm not saying it's going to happen. I don't know that that's going to happen. But I am speculating and I'm theorizing, especially when we had a little over a week ago, Larry Kudlow once again bring up, we have money to repurpose. So they're still throwing little bits of information in there as time has gone on, with the government deciding, again, they don't care about us and they're not going to step up to help the way they should. But the good news is I think help is on the way, and worst case scenario, even though the Democrats and the Republicans in the government, not you guys, but the people at the top or the extremists seem to not give a crap about us. Well, I'm sure some of the extremists do, right? Even with the people who are extremists, you know, I think they've just bought into one narrative or another, and that's fine. That's, you know, that's their business, and they have every right to feel and think the way they feel. But I think that we could have some good things right around the corner when it comes to all this, and I'm going to keep my fingers crossed that that is the case. Okay, guys, if you like this video, please give me a big thumbs up, like the video, subscribe, hit notifications so you can be notified daily what is coming in the pipeline for you and your stimulus money. Also, sound off in the comments. What do you think? Do you think he lied intentionally? Do you think he's just a big fat liar? I shouldn't say fat. I'm not saying fat like to be mean. I just mean like a big phony liar, I should say. I'm sorry. Yeah, I shouldn't have used the word F-A-T. You know, when people just say, you're a big fat this, it's just like a form of speech or an expression. So yeah, not trying to diss him or anything at all. Trust me, I've had so many comments about my body. It's the last thing I'm going to do to somebody. So leave me a comment. Do you think he's just a big, exaggerated liar? Do you think that you can understand why maybe they didn't say everything? Do you think they're still lying? Do you think he's worse off than what we know? What do you think? Sound off in the comments. And guys, as well, please share this content with as many people as you can. People who are on unemployment, waiting for unemployment, waiting for stimulus checks, SBA loan and grants, having issues paying your bills. I've got tons of tools and tons of resources to help you through this difficult time, and I would love to continue to help people on this journey of what is going on. And also, guys, the more that you like the videos, subscribe, hit notifications, comment, share, the more my channel grows. And when my channel grows, I can finally, when I get monetized, bring some things back to you guys and give back to you guys, like, as I've said before, with the gift card giveaways. I would love to start those up again, and that will be coming soon. I just need to get monetized, see what I can do, see what I can pull in, and see how much money I can do to give to you guys. And if you want to be able to help, like I said before, please make sure and watch the videos from start until finish. That really helps, because I have to get my watch time up to 4,000 hours in 2 days. We're at 2,300 hours. Yay, we're over halfway there. So anything you can do, if you want to watch the videos multiple times, that's great. Liking the videos helps. Commenting, all of that they call engagement. That all helps boost the numbers up, get this content out there so I can rebuild the audience, rebuild my views, and continue to give back to you. And again, remember, now I'm on my own, so it's a bit of a different topic. It's a different situation. So any help you can give me is grateful, and I'm so grateful and appreciative. And I send all the love in the world out to all of you, and all of you who are going through illness, chronic illness, the virus, what the president's going through. Sending you all my love, and I'm going to continue to pray and try to keep my intentions, and that we are able to create different things in this world so we can help people all around the world who are suffering and try to uplift them to a better state and a better place of being. More peace, more happiness. And I'm going to continue to hope we can have those breakthroughs with science that we are allowed to get access to. Okay, guys, this has been Katie, and thank you so much for listening to my insight. What is going on with my mouth? I think this is just pure exhaustion. Thank you for listening to all of my insights. I will see you guys soon. Take care and blessings. Until tomorrow, we'll have a lot more stimulus updates, and hopefully we'll have some good news. Okay, guys, bye. Okay, a quick side note as I begin this video, guys. As you guys know, most of you who watch this channel know, I just 2 days ago left a channel of over 100,000 subscribers. I didn't want to leave it. I was very sad to leave it, but it's just a situation that had to be. And I've had a lot of people asking how they can help me right now because I need to get monetized. I'm not there yet. Here's how you can help me. As much as I appreciate people wanting to donate, I will not take your money. You guys are struggling too, and I don't want to do that to you. But if you want to help me be able to get to where I can make money and continue these videos, here's what you can do. Make sure and like every single video you see. Leave a comment. Shoot, leave multiple comments if you want. Every comment helps. The likes and the comments are called engagement. This definitely helps. Watch the videos from start until finish, and if you want to watch multiple times, please do just watch from start to finish. That gets up my watch time as well. And also, if you haven't, like and subscribe, subscribe and hit notifications. Make sure and ring that notification bell if you haven't. All of these things definitely help me be able to rebuild and get the channel in a good place, and more importantly, get back to you guys. Okay, on with the show.